one of the more complicated mysteries of the church in 3 of the shortest readings we'll ever hear in a single liturgy. Just really succinct things. And I guess that makes sense. It's a difficult thing to preach on. You've probably heard many analogies about it. You know, the Trinity is like H2O. You know, we have it in liquid form and steam and ice. You know, so it's one substance, or things like that. Trying to think of others I've heard. Oh, my favorite. But you have to be of a certain age to appreciate Neapolitan ice cream. Kids are like, what? Yeah. And I always thought it was awful. I think one of the worst things in the world is chocolate ice cream, whether you like chocolate or not. I just don't think it tastes like chocolate. Okay, that's an aside. But I want to thank Hudson and Sawyer for being born and being baptized on this day, because this wasn't originally the day we picked, right? And so it was for Ascension. But this actually works so much better, because this is the thing. Mysteries, the mystery of the Trinity is not like a puzzle to be solved. When I was in 6th grade is when the Rubik's Cube became a thing, and we all had one, but there was only one kid in our entire grade that could fix it. And so every morning we would all show up, like 20 of us, here, fix this, and it'd be like, hand it back to you. And, you'd like slowly through the day kind of, it's kind of like going out on a limb, you kind of mix it up, and pretty soon you're like, oh no, Brian, fix it again. That's the thing. That's a puzzle, and you solve puzzles, and you master puzzles. But the Holy Trinity is not a puzzle, and you don't master it. And children are not puzzles. You don't master them. Many books have been written about raising children. Anyone find that they gave you everything you needed to know? Did you finish one and go, I don't know, what's that? I guess, maybe. And then you add the mystery of twins, right? Like this whole thing around like, ooh, you go like, maybe they're talking to each other right now. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying is there's only one way to experience children, and that's day by day. And to grow in love of them as they grow in love of you. That's God too. We don't control God. And Paul, when he had a chance to speak, you may think, why that piece for Holy Trinity? Because he speaks of the grace of Christ, the love of God, the communion or fellowship of the Holy Spirit. He didn't explain the Trinity. He showed us again back to the relationship. And that's what it's always going to be for us, is to acknowledge, first and foremost, it's mystery. We want to control it. We can't. That's not what we get to do. That was the first sin, remember? Some people think the first sin was disobedience, but not really, I don't think. The first sin was listening to what the serpent said, which is, if you eat this, you will be like God. And that's control. Because if you're like God, then you know. And all mysteries are solved. And that's not what we get. And so when you bring children to be baptized, then that's not magic either, is it? Anyone here baptized a child and they were no longer fussy or cranky or no, right? It's not. Sorry, it's not magic, but it is the place that God claims them, that they are held to God in a special way in what happens today. And then all of us, parents and godparents and communities, say, "You're with us." Not that they weren't, they're not baptized right now. We're not saying, no, not now, right? But we're saying in that sacramental way, God is claiming you for his own, the love of God. And so what we're going to teach them is that trust every day, day in and day out, the lived experience. There's no other way. The Eucharist itself is not an explanation of God. It's an experience of God. And week by week, or day by day, if you're a daily attendant, it reaches us and teaches us something different each day. What's his name? Gabor Mate? Anyone ever see this guy? I think it's a Czechoslovakian psychologist. But he was saying, no two people have been raised by the same parent, not even within the same household. Because they're not the same people. Like I'm the third, right? My mom and dad were not the same people they were when they raised my sisters, Kathy and Karen. Everything's different. That doesn't mean we didn't have commonalities. Don't misunderstand his point. His point is simply that we are not static critters. But the God who loves us and this mysterious triune God is a constant for us. And so as we move in a deeper understanding of that relationship, then all relationships become sacred. And without that, then life isn't dignity. What are we talking about? And so that God as a community is showing us how to live and how to love and how to interact with one another. There aren't in groups and out groups. There's just the children of God. And the presence of Christ that's given to us in this Eucharist, the God that loved us into existence, the God that saved us from ourselves, and the God in the Holy Spirit that's nudging, sometimes shoving, nudging for the most part, and breathing on us that fire that we need to be more faithful disciples of His. Hudson and Sawyer do not get the Holy Trinity this morning. Intellectually, they don't get it. But the Holy Trinity has got them. The Holy Trinity has got a hold of them in a powerful way today, just as He has for each of us. So here's our opportunity as a community, not just ritual, although it is indeed a beautiful ritual, but to name them and claim them for God. So that all of us can say that same thing. I'm never going to get it fully, because that's not what I'm supposed to get this side of heaven. But the Holy Trinity's got hold of us. And the one that loved us into existence and saved us from ourselves and is breathing on us to be a more faithful disciple asks us to do the same for these two today. May God be praised.